2016. Congratulations. Family, friends, guests, and faculty, you may take your seats. I am Nancy Stout, and I am the proud Dean of Washington University School of Law. I'd like to echo something that Congressman John Lewis said this morning, our fantastic university speech giver today. He said, "I wish that you could all be standing up here where we are and looking out. You would love to see yourselves. You are truly beautiful, and you're handsome today." Today we are celebrating the work of our students who will soon become the leaders of our society and the stewards of our democracy. Congratulations to our parents, spouses, partners, family, friends, professors, and mentors. All of you helped make today possible for our 352 graduates. Let's give a round of applause for those who helped you. You graduates are the future champions of a better, more equal, and more equitable society. Over the last years, you, the class of 2016, you have been busy. We did a few calculations, and we found that you have collectively taken over 2,000 exams. You've written more than 1,000 papers. You enrolled in 400 clinics, and with the professors sitting behind me, you were in class for over 10,000 hours. Over the past few weeks, I understand that you graduates have also done a little bit of celebrating. You had a picnic in Forest Park, you floated down the river in the Ozarks, and I understand that quite a few of you took a bus to the vineyards. You attended Cardinals games and visited a few pubs, and I have to say I saw quite a few of you popping champagne bottles outside of the law school over the last couple days. You, the class of 2016, you are a great class. You arrived from 33 states and 35 countries from across the world. You came from diverse families, and you had incredible and wide-ranging experiences. But today you are different. Today we are here to recognize that you now have the training, the ability, the knowledge, and the expertise to shape our world, to change our world, and to improve our world. What will you do? As Dean of the Law School, I will follow your paths with great interest, and I know that all of your professors and mentors will also want to know about your many achievements. What are we likely to find over the next several years? Well, some of you will work with major international firms. Some of you will go on to international universities. You will become Wall Street lawyers, prosecutors, public defenders. Some of you will become judges, politicians, and ambassadors. You might even become the director of the CIA or the FBI. How do I know this? Well, these are the current paths of our alumni over the course of our 149-year history. How do I know this? Many of you have already started embarking on these careers. How do I know this? Because I know you, and you have the ambition and the tenacity to achieve anything that you set out to do. Now, as Dean, I should also let you know that you will encounter a few unexpected successes, but yes, a few unexpected lows as well in your professional careers. And we, every one of us here today, your family, our faculty, your mentors, we will be ready to applaud you when you achieve those successes, but we will also be ready to help you when you hit those inevitable lows that every profession delivers. Now, as you start your journey, I'd like to share with you 3 lessons that I think we learned together. while we've both been here on campus. Number one, be a great speaker, but listen to so you can truly change the world. We live in a world of talkers and speakers and writers, and indeed, you just spent an awful lot of time and resources learning how to be polished speakers, lucid writers, and effective advocates. But what about the art of listening? We can learn, update, and even find a means to change the world if we listen. Now, make no mistake, listening can be hard. In fact, one of our prominent alumnus, Cash Nickerson, has written a book, and he writes that learning to listen is as hard as learning a martial art. In fact, he says it is a martial art. I learned a lesson this year. You, the class of 2016, you let me know loud and clear that had I taken more time to listen to you and learn your preferences, needs, and plans, I could have assured that all of our goals were simultaneously met when we made transitions into law school, including transitions, for example, in the Center for Career Development. Do you remember that crowdsourced petition you wrote? It was awfully good. But it also highlighted an incredibly important lesson. To be truly great and to succeed, we need to listen and we need to find a path that accounts for a wide range of visions and plans and concerns. Number two, enjoy your success, but remember, low points and failures set us apart. Now, I know you all know success. You're graduating from one of the very best law schools in the entire world. But I also know that you've faced some lows over the course of time, both minor and major. You sat for thousands of exams and wrote papers, and I feel pretty sure that some of you wished you had achieved a higher score sometimes. Or maybe you wished you had given a more polished answer to the professors who were grilling you in class. In life after law school, you will sometimes face difficult and embarrassing moments. Your critics might even say, "I told you so. You can't achieve your goal. You're the wrong person." But the definition of success is the willingness to work through the disappointments and the setbacks, not with fear, but with eagerness and confidence. Being positive and motivated in the face of success is very, very easy. But retaining that ambition and that focus when setbacks are at your doorstep is so much more difficult. I like to remember what the legendary basketball player Michael Jordan once said when asked about his successes. "I've missed more than 9,000 shots. I've lost 300 games. I was trusted to make a winning shot, and I failed 26 times. I failed over and over, but that's why I'm a success," he says. "I succeed because I don't fear the failures that will inevitably come." You, the class of 2016, you have weathered some of the most difficult challenges imaginable. We lost a friend and a colleague last fall when Rob Iverson passed away. Please remember Rob Iverson and keep his family in your hearts, as you all did over the course of the past year. And for Rob Iverson, remember his passion for the law and advocacy as you strive to work hard in all that you will do. Number three, class of 2016, you have made a difference at WashU Law. You have shown the strength, purpose, and resolve that is just amazing. You have shown our law school what it means to be community-oriented, collegial, and supportive. You have the ambition to win, but you also have the humility to learn. I can think of no bigger compliment than to say to someone, "You have made a difference." Class of 2016, you have made a difference. Class of 2016, we are so proud of you. Class of 2016, congratulations on a job well done. Before continuing our program, I'd like to recognize and congratulate the two professors that you, the class of 2016, voted to be Professor of the Year. You selected Professor Pauline Kim to be the David M. Becker Professor of the Year, and you also selected Professor and Judge Barry Shermer to be the Adjunct Professor of the Year. Congratulations, Professor Kim and Judge Shermer. I would now like to invite the Grand Marshal of the Law School, Peggy Smith, to come forward to introduce our voice of the faculty.
Members of the class of 2016, it is my great pleasure and privilege to introduce the voice of the faculty. You have bestowed a wonderful honor on Professor Russell Osgood by selecting him to speak with you on this special day. Professor Osgood is the distinguished John Lehman Visiting Professor of Law. Professor Osgood has just wrapped up his last semester of teaching here at WashU Law. So the honor to speak with you today is especially fitting. As his colleague, I know the many wonderful attributes that Professor Osgood possesses as a scholar. But you know better than any of us just how truly admired and loved he is as a teacher, a mentor, and a friend. I had a chance to discover firsthand the high esteem in which you hold Professor Osgood. I want to share with you a few of the descriptions that you use over the years to describe Professor Osgood in his student course evaluations. And I quote, "Extremely thoughtful and thought-provoking, smart and very funny. This guy knows his stuff. Amazing lecturer. He's brilliant. Best professor at WashU, greatest of all time. He's more than good. He's awesome." And my personal favorite, Professor Osgood, he's the man. Professor Osgood, please come to the podium and deliver the Voice of the Faculty lecture to the class of 2016, and thank you for all that you have done.
Thank you, Peggy. I want to join the dean in congratulating all of the students here. I thought I might embellish it a little bit and paraphrase Abraham Lincoln about you and your endeavors here. Abraham Lincoln would have said this about you. A few of you worked very hard all the time. Many of you worked hard some of the time. And some of you are lucky. There are many notable things about the classes before me, the LLM class, the JD class, the Master of Legal Studies, and the one doctoral candidate. So I thought I'd tell you about some of them. When I was correcting one of the first-year criminal law exams for a section of this class, I reached question 4 on the exam. There were just a few lines of text. I won't describe the quality of them. Then a new paragraph began, and written at a 135-degree angle from the vertical, perhaps to suggest that the writer was collapsing, were the following words, quote, I'm running out of time, unquote. Another one of you on that exam wrote in answer to a short answer question, I don't know the answer to this, but check with Professor Osgood. He got 1 of the 14 points allocated for that question. While you were here, one student gave in class to a question posed by me the best answer I have ever heard in a class in 40 years of law teaching. I asked him if, in reference to a case in which criminal liability was being attached based on unforeseen circumstances, whether circumstances had ever turned out other than he had expected or hoped in his life. And he answered, and I quote, "You have just summarized my entire dating history." But not all that you have done here has been tinged with humor. One of you wrote a fabulous paper for me in American legal history that resurrected the hitherto infamous Texas frontier judge Roy Bean from the ignominy of standardless judging and made him a legal realist hero. Another one of you wanted to write a criminal law paper about the decision of the District of Columbia to close its dreadful prison and place its prisoners in other federal prisons around the United States. And that person wanted to argue that this closure denied the prisoners due process of law. I thought that was a stretch. And the author concluded the same, but then she went on to argue in the rest of the paper that the district and the federal government should still accommodate many prisoners who retain close ties to the district and wish to be near their families and friends while incarcerated. An LLM student in American legal history this fall did a terrific presentation comparing slavery in classical Rome with the institution in the United States, showing the greater ease of manumission under the non-racialized Roman law of slavery. Others of you have made this a better place by working with groups like Outlaw, Moot Court, the Law Review, the Women's Law Caucus annual auction for the benefit of public interest fellowships, and our veterans group. You have also kept active with good things like running in Forest Park, biking around St. Louis, and also more obscure activities like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Many of you have worked part-time, and one of you worked hard at a great restaurant in town while taking tax with me this semester and did very well at both. And sadly, but not surprisingly, many of you have, even in the last few weeks of your years here, had to deal with personal difficulties, tragedies, and struggles. But I am supposed to be the voice of the faculty. And ideally, I should say something about law, justice, and being a lawyer. So it won't surprise you that if I start with a 17th century English criminal case. An 11-year-old boy was accused of larceny for stealing some fruit at a county fair in Shropshire, England. The indictment averred that the fruit was worth over 1 shilling, which at that time was 12 pence. And that was the required amount for it to constitute larceny. If the fruit was worth less than 1 shilling, it wouldn't be larceny. There was uncontroverted testimony that the fruit was worth over 1 shilling. The jury retired and then returned on the larceny case with a finding of not guilty, specifying that the fruit was worth less than 1 shilling and in fact was worth only 10 pence. The judge sitting at the assizes became infuriated, refused to accept the verdict, and sent the jury back to reconsider. He told the jurors that he would find them in contempt if they found the fruit worth 10 pence again. The jury retired for a very short period of time and returned with a fresh verdict. They found that the defendant was not guilty because the fruit was worth 8 pence. The judge exploded at them and then accepted their verdict. In the common law plea rolls for a period of over 700 years, legal historians have found a very large number of cases in which common law juries found that a theft did not amount to a larceny because the stolen items were valued just below the lowest limit for larceny. Why is this so? Well, of course, the jurors may, in advance of our modern articulation of the idea of mens rea, have concluded that young boys, they are all almost young boys, could not have had the requisite intent to be convicted of the felony of larceny. Another way to look at these results, and my point to you, is that law is not a precise set of narrow and tightly drawn rules, but rather a dynamic social institution in which generalized social norms of justice may trump, is that a pun nowadays? May trump legal technicality and even language, the late Justice Antonin Scalia notwithstanding. At the same time, justice, when it operates in this fashion, tends to exculpate rather than inculpate a defendant because of our fundamental requirement that notice of possible criminality must be given, at least generally. Thus, I ask you, if you become a judge or a prosecutor or a defense attorney or even a business person doing legal things, to keep in mind that justice is the broadest articulation of social values and that it moves and shakes jerkily at times, casts off the past, and embraces a newer conception of law which reflects life as it is. But before I finish and leave, I have to read a passage from Paradise Lost, written by John Milton, after he had lost his sight, and it was published in 1667. I might say that only a law professor would liken graduation to law school from being expelled from paradise or the Garden of Eden. You will recall, or perhaps you will now learn, that Paradise Lost tells in soaring verse the story of Adam and Eve and Satan and his bad angel allies, how Adam and Eve sinned and were expelled from the Garden of Eden, and finally how Satan and his angels were cast down into the abyss of hell. The poem begins, of man's first disobedience and the fruit of that forbidden tree, whose mortal taste brought death into this world and all our woe with loss of Eden. But I want to focus on the end of the last book of Paradise Lost, where the Archangel Michael leads Adam and Eve out of Eden after God's condemnation. I now quote Milton. The Archangel stood, and from the other hill to their fixed station, all in bright array, the cherubim, those are the fat little angels, descended on the ground, gliding meteorous as the evening mist, risen from a river o'er the marish glides, and gathers ground fast as a laborer's heel homeward returning. High in front advanced the brandished sword of God. Before them blazed, fierce as a comet, which with torrid heat and vapor as the Libyan era dust began to parch the temperate clime. Whereat, in either hand, the archangel caught our lingering parents, and to the eastern gate of Eden led them direct, and down the cliff as fast to the subjected plain, then disappeared. They, Adam and Eve, looking back, all the eastern side beheld of paradise, so late their happy seat, waved over by the flaming brand, the gate with dreadful faces thronged and fiery arms. And now the last words, which are for you. Some natural tears they dropped, but wiped them soon. The world was all before them, where to choose their place of rest, and Providence their guide. They hand in hand, with wandering steps and slow, through Eden took their solitary way. And so may it be for all of you, that you will find your way, that you will find a place of rest, that you will have someone to hold your hand, And finally, that some great force may guide, protect, and help you to attain a life of love, satisfaction, and achievement. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Osgood. An excellent speech and a wonderful voice of the faculty. Thank you. We will now hear from our two student speakers, students that our class of 2016 also selected to be the voices of the student body. To introduce our student speakers, Howard Kane, the chairperson of our Law School National Council, a graduate of the class of 1979 and a member of the University Board of Trustees, will introduce the students. Howard is a well-known litigator in Washington, D.C., and joins me in welcoming not only our two student speakers today, but also all of you, the class of 2016, into the ranks of the prestigious Washington University alumni. Howard Kane, would you please come to the podium?
Good afternoon. This is an extraordinary day, and I'm so humbled and honored to be here with this extraordinary group. Welcome to the real world. And fellow alumni, it was worth it. I promised the dean I would stay on script, but the dean told us how important it is to be a good listener, not so much with me. I have a hard time listening, but just real quickly, you have embarked on, in my view, the best careers, the best course of life possible. I got here 40 years ago, and I'm not overstating it. With a few setbacks, it is really fun. That's the most important thing. What you've learned here has well equipped you to succeed in life, to have a job, to help people, to have fun. And Dean, with that, I'm going to get back on script. But congratulations again to all. On behalf of the university, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, we are so proud of each and every graduate with us here today. Congratulations. Our first speaker, and we have two extraordinary students today, is Herman A. Gonzalez Herrera. Herman is graduating LLM student with specialization in negotiation and dispute resolution. He was born in Bogota, Colombia, and has law degrees from Javeriana, I didn't say that so great, but I tried, and the Basque Country universities. He also has a master's degree in fundamental rights. In Colombia, Herman served as vice president of a nonprofit organization created by his father called the Give Something More Foundation. The foundation offers technical courses to low-income students in rural areas. Herman has also worked for the Coffee Plantation Workers of Colombia, and he is the co-founder in Art Magazine that specializes in photography. Upon graduation, he will sit for the Missouri Bar. He will then serve as an intern at the Better Business Bureau as he begins his journey in negotiation and dispute resolution. And I'm pleased to say that Herman is here with 6 family members, including his father from Colombia. Welcome to the family.
Thank you, Mr. Kay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to be here today, standing before the esteemed faculty and my fellow students. I am, like I know my classmates are as well, very proud to have the opportunity to receive a Master in Law from Washington University in St. Louis. This year, we learned about the United States legal system and the common law, a concept very different from our civil law tradition in my home country of Colombia. Not only did we learn a new way of thinking in our profession, but we also got a taste of a different cultures. All of us had the opportunity to meet outstanding people around the globe. Their background and their previous studies and experiences creating a dynamic learning environment. So I say to you, dear classmates, all the work that we have done here is just the beginning. Yes, maybe some of us struggle to understand some words this year as English is our second or even third language, but we made it. Today, we are wearing this cap and this gown as we begin the next chapter of our lives. Let's use this newly acquired knowledge to create a better world, a peaceful world. Remember that there are people who don't get the opportunity to do what we have done. When you walk away from here, when you walk away from here, take this diploma and use it to change society around you. There is a quote from Khalil Gibran that I would like to share with you. You have been told also that life is darkness, and in your weariness you echo what was said by the weary. And I say, life is indeed darkness, save when there is urge. And all urge is blind, save when there is knowledge. And all knowledge is vain, save when there is work. And all work is empty, save when there is love. And when you work with love, you bind yourself to yourself and to one another and to God. I really like this quote because it ties work and knowledge to loving and serving others. I believe that we should consider how this concept might influence how we practice law. When you do that, you will find love in what you do. You will connect yourself and with those around you. If you are compelled to change your community or change the world, I encourage you to tackle that. Do not be afraid to express yourself and take challenges. Work hard to make this possible. But you need to know that the world will sometimes be tough, and that sometimes your ideas will not well received. Don't be discouraged. Press on. When you feel fear and think that you cannot go further, remember this quote from my favorite poems called Più avanti. Don't embrace defeat even when defeated. Don't feel yourself a slave even when enslaved. Trembling in terror, think yourself fearless and charged with fury even when badly wounded. To conclude, I want to thank all faculty, staff, friends, family, and everyone else that accompanied us on our journey. I can say that our professor certainly challenged our minds. Thank you. You should be proud to know that because you pass on your knowledge, you are able to help others grow into better thinkers and professionals. And the last thing I wanted to make a remark about today is something that I often ask. Are you happy? This year, I learned many phrases in Mandarin, and this question was one of them. 你开心吗? Which, if translated directly into English, actually states, is your heart open? And this, to me, is a beautiful thing because I believe we should all have our hearts open towards human beings wherever we go. When you leave here today, live with your heart open and bask in the knowledge that you acquired a precious and powerful gift. With this degree, you can effect change and make a difference. Above all, remember to be happy, and as my Chinese classmate told me, Ninjun Bang, that means you are great. Thank you.
Great job. Very well done. I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Steve Alana. Steve holds the prestigious Webster Society Scholarship and will graduate, actually has graduated now. You're alumni, as I mentioned. That means a lot. I'll call you later, okay? With a JD. Steve is from Kansas City and has both an undergraduate degree and a master's degree from the University of Notre Dame. During his time here at Washington University Law, Steve has been extraordinarily busy. He held leadership positions in Outlaw, the American Indian Law Students Association, and the American Constitution Society. Steve was also a member of the National Moot Court team, and he served as the chief notes editor for our law review. Those are both extraordinary and amazingly time-consuming accomplishments. And to top it off, in his free time, Steve runs marathons. Most recently in a town up northeast, I think Boston. This fall, Steve will join Brian Cave's office in St. Louis, and I'm pleased to report Steve has 12 family members here to join us in listening to his words this morning. Steve? Glad to meet you.
Thank you, Mr. Kane. It is a great honor to address my amazing classmates, our beloved faculty and staff, and our family and friends here today. My name is Steve Alana, and I want to talk about a question that at this stage in our lives, my classmates and I are hearing more and more. What do you do? There are a few ways we can answer this question, and some are more socially acceptable than others. For instance, I could give a really truthful answer and say something like, well, I eat a lot, I run, I study. There are big periods of time when I just sleep. But despite this answer's truthfulness, it would probably be less satisfactory to the asker than if I had just said my job title. And that's because what do you do is not really asking what it's asking. What do you do is the grown-up version of St. Louis's ubiquitous, what high school did you go to? Which might as well be, what's your socioeconomic status? How much money do you make? Now, these questions are thankfully frowned upon in social circles, but we're perfectly fine asking their coded counterpart, what do you do? And most of us oblige by reciting our job titles. This graduating class already has some impressive job title answers. One classmate will work in the Department of Justice Honors Program, serving American Indian Country in South Dakota. Another will pursue excellence in playwriting in a Master's of Fine Arts program in Los Angeles. Another will study international human rights in an advanced master's program in the Netherlands. A few will undertake influential judicial clerkships at federal and state benches. A few more will launch public interest careers as public defenders, prosecutors, and other government attorneys. and in nonprofit groups that fight indispensably for the marginalized. And still, a lot of us will enter private practice, joining elite firms and companies across the country. Now, I apologize if I just sounded like one of those yearly admissions office announcements that every year says how this year's incoming class is the most talented, diverse, better than you class ever. Because my point is that while we will all eventually find the job title that works best for us, even if we don't yet have it or even know what it is, what's more important is that we think carefully before answering the "what do you do" question with our job titles, because it risks turning our answers into a kind of half-truth. If we choose to respond to "what do you do" with our job titles, then it becomes our obligation to bring our whole selves into our work. The future hour billers may have just freaked out a little. But when I say bring our whole selves into our work, I'm not saying give up on work-life balance. I am saying that we would do well to strive for a healthy approach in which our lives, ourselves, are part of our work as attorneys, not separated or compartmentalized from it. Our social responsibilities are part of who we are. And so when we bring our whole selves to work, the public interest private practice binary becomes a false one. Those of us entering private practice cannot outsource our duties to the community to our classmates graduating with public interest job titles. Because of the privilege of our education, we are all called to bear witness to justice in our work, all of us. And so when we stop compartmentalizing life and self versus work, it will become not only possible, but imperative for us to seek equity in all instances. We'll be able to see the decision of our classmates who came out of the closet during their law school career as a testament to the importance of bringing our whole selves into what we do. We'll be able to talk about, remember, and honor the classmate we lost, Rob Iverson, as we clutch on to our gifts of health and our support systems. We'll be able to stop calling the events that happened in Ferguson the events that happened in Ferguson. And recognize that legalized injustice impacts all of us. People of color, white, gay, straight, bi, men, women, queer, trans, all of our identities deserve to be served under the law, and we are all called to serve the communities around us. And when we take on that responsibility, we are rewarded with more to celebrate. And so let us celebrate and congratulate one another. Let us be thankful. Let us get in the way. And when someone asks us, "What do you do?" let us be able to say with integrity that we do justice to our job titles. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you, Herman, for giving such incredible and inspiring speeches. And thank you to the class of 2016 who selected and voted for these two speakers to present those inspiring words. It is now time to recognize each and every one of you personally. Assistant Dean Peter Kramer and Associate Dean Elizabeth Walsh will read the names of each graduate. You will rise and then walk across stage. I'll be waiting for you to shake your hand and congratulate you, and then you will greet various staff members and pick up your diploma as you as you exit on the stairs.
Jennifer S. Terrell, Juris Doctoris. Marissa Renee Sims, Juris Doctoris. G. Lee, Master of Laws in U.S. Law. Herman Alonso Gonzalez Herrera, Master of Laws in Negotiation and Dispute Resolution. Stephen Alana, Juris Doctoris. Master of Laws in Intellectual Property and Technology Law.
Mudiaga Agotor.
Yi Chin Gu.
C.G. He.
Xiao Lin Huang.
Yi Lu.
Yuan Liu.
Chinapun Peslapun.
Hua Sun.
Tanita Tamjaroen.
Tianxin Wang.
Ingbo Wang.
Tianxi Xia. Master of Laws.
Saida Basir.
Master of Laws in Negotiation and Dispute Resolution.
Rachele Beretta.
Nushin Dito Marchetti.
Michael Farshach.
Greta Marinaro. Master of Laws in U.S. Law.
Asta Acharya.
Liliana Alcantar Gutierrez.
Abdulaziz Rashid Al Ghurair.
Joventina Andrioli.
Robert Isaac Ewa Odu.
Cristiana Aladia Ferreira Bardella.
Daniel Sampaio de Acevedo.
Willie Frank Anje Zay.
Patrick George Barclay.
Igor Marcelo Mafe Bellini.
Miro Batti.
Josendrique Alexander Bravo.
Cynthia Bussey.
Jin Jiao Zai.
Zhong Zai.
Yu Fun Zhao.
Antonio Roberto Catalano.
Bi Han Chin.
Yu Chen.
Kai Yan Chu.
Ning Duan.
Patricia Adama Izeli.
Guido Frasoldati.
Alici Galizia.
Qingao.
Ju Fon Gao.
Zhehong Gao,
Minxian Gu,
Bohao Guan,
Ayman Mohammed Ahmed Hamdi,
Danyan Hao,
Mo Chi Hair,
Wei He He,
Jaime Hernandez Silva,
Carlos Rafael Hernández Contreras,
Han Hu,
Yuming He,
Rong Chen Huang,
Shi Huang,
Yinan Hui,
Yang Jin,
James Kamau,
Shafaf Ladif,
Gaia Lentini,
Wutibom Les Viriajit,
Bowen Lee,
Ge Li,
Meng Lee,
Pai Li,
Ziyi Lee,
Siyu Liang,
Chia Ying Lin,
Li Shuo Lin,
Yu Han Lin,
Bohan Ling,
Yua Han Liu,
Min Le,
Junqing Liu,
Yichen Le,
Esti Mashiach,
Jie Hui Ming,
Bo Han Mi,
Ren Rui Min,
Alessandro Paccioni,
Pai Dong Pan,
Rachel Perez,
Jin Jin,
Yu Chiao Chiu,
Stefano Romole,
Yu Chen Ruan,
Maria de la Luz Santi,
Gael Schmidt,
Wei Min Shen,
Jen Shi,
Igor Stratan,
Yuan Tien,
Jeroen van der Hoed,
Hong Wei Wan,
Sheng Wan,
Xing Yuan Wang,
Jinli Wang,
Jin Ching Wang,
Jin Yang Wang,
Mo Wang,
Xu Wang,
Yang Xia Wang,
Yu Wang,
Min Wu,
Yu Ying Wu,
Chin Haishian Xia,
Hua Kong Shi,
Mu Shu,
Jin Yang,
Chiang Pei Yi,
Shan Yang,
Han Chi Yu.
Jia Sen Yu,
Lee John.
Lin Lin Zhang,
Xiantian Zhang.
Xin Yue Zhang,
Yingzi Zhang.
Zesheng Zhang,
Di Jin.
Xuanzhen Zhong,
Gua Zhou.
Shaoyi Zhu,
Xu Jingzhou.
Jinke Zhu,
Jingxi Ju.
Yunqi Zhu,
Zon Ha. Master of Laws and Taxation.
Tanya Aldada,
Thomas E. Evans.
Andrew Vincent Wolkowitz,
Master of Legal Studies.
Valerie Clark,
Stephanie Nicole Crum.
Sina Dare,
Catherine Heffelmeyer.
Yu Xiao He,
Sade Magare. Juris Doctoris.
Kemi Akindude,
Benjamin M. Ambrose.
Camille Ramsey Amari,
Catherine F. Asfor.
Amber Ashball,
Yu Ning Bai.
Gwen Barney,
Gerard Belfort.
Alexander Bell,
Ethan Wendell Bell.
Michael Benson,
Casey Breeze.
Thomas Hunter Brown,
Anthony M. Bush.
Jackie Lee Ann Carlton,
Hamilton Stewart Carpenter.
Christy Beth Carino,
Alexander W. Chang.
Hong Shu Cheng,
Hui Jen Chen.
Suhyun Cho,
Christopher R. Clayton.
Patrick Tyler Connor,
Rebecca Rochelle Corson.
Jacob Crabtree,
Nicholas P. Crosby.
Brian Howard Gillette,
Casey Douglas Donahue.
Thomas M. Doherty,
Rachel K. Dowd.
Jessica A. Doyle,
Joseph D. Dritzis.
Landu,
Adam J. Dwyer.
Austin Fair Elder,
Benjamin M. Farley.
Yining Feng,
Olivia Grace Finley.
Tyler Fink.
Lieutenant C.M. Fogarty, United States Coast Guard.
Christina Francois.
Nanre M. Garba.
Jay Garg.
Matthew K. Gillespie.
Julie Gladstone.
Rebecca Gosh.
Eleanor Gurley.
Evan S. Grant.
Colleen Gray.
Zoe Gross.
Sonali Gupta.
Joseph H. Haddad.
Brian Hall.
John C. Hamlet.
Ashley Cade Hammett.
Mary E. Hanna.
Erica Lee Hansen.
Emily Hargis.
Alicia C. Harris.
Courtney Joanne Harrison.
Patrick Hassett.
Thomas Skelton Hastings.
Tess Heiser.
Mark David Hendel.
Mary Hirschway.
Emily C. Hogan.
John Lee Holtz.
Audrey R. Howard.
Alex Jacobs.
Kevin F. Jacobson.
Gregory Jones.
Stella Vasiliki Cam.
Maxwell Kelly Karasek.
Jennifer Dallas Karavanich.
Paloma Allegra Kennedy.
Tiffany D. Kennan.
Mark Kettlewell.
Sarah Jean K. Kilker.
Paul Michael Canettle.
Julietta Kosiba.
Elisa Kutner.
Jamal Lama.
Brian Lee.
Jonathan J. Lee.
Jungjin Lee.
Andrew D. Lemons.
Maritza Leon Jimenez.
Jason M. Lesnovic.
Wenqing Li.
Stephen D. Lindley.
Mengjia Lu.
Timothy Lai.
Ronald Madlock.
Brendan R. H. McGarren.
Rachel Jean McLean.
Daniel James Miles.
Catherine Miss.
Thomas Allen Mitchell.
Austin Moore.
Leah M. Moore.
Rocco Motto.
Elizabeth Grace Musto.
Tyler Myers.
Tara Nair.
Anna Simone Nettles.
Andrea Sue Nichols.
Matthew Nieters.
Daniel R. O'Brien.
Luke O'Brien.
David Okada.
Miles Goodfellow O'Kelly.
Ikine C. Akpala.
Jesus Osete.
Samir K. Patel.
Nicole Pelletier.
Zachary A. Pestine.
Joshua Quay.
Sushma Raju.
James Edward Ransdell.
Yu Rao.
Sarah Rashid.
Allison F. Richard.
Daniel Rico.
Daniel R. Ritter.
Hyun Tae Ro.
Chian Rong.
Michael Rostovtsev.
Jordan A. Rutledge.
Brian Ryan.
Christopher R. Scavone.
Emily Schendel.
Rebecca Stewart Schieser.
Daniel Schweibold.
Melissa Tiffany Seaborg.
Christine Shang.
Amit Michael Shanker.
Sandhya Sharma.
Remington A. Shepard.
Gersharon Shergill.
Jeffrey Shee.
Alex Short.
Joshua S. Sills.
Carrie Jacob Simowitz.
Paul Lawrence Smelser.
Abigail Smith.
Kevin M. Smith.
Robert Joseph Sonnenfeld.
Catherine DeAndre Sparks.
Galen Spielman.
Nathan Michael Steck.
Haley Sarah Stern.
Samuel H. Stragand.
Jay Strandjord.
Hei Siang So.
Emily Sapowit.
Amanda K. Swissgood.
Youngju Tian.
Jeremy A. Tripp.
Jordan Hadley Turbin.
Greg R. Turner.
Benjamin Alfers.
Seher Valyani.
Laura Venn.
Joshua D. Walburn.
Ying Wang.
Rachel A. Washburn.
Mary Elizabeth Washington.
Todd R. Wells.
Mitchell West.
Victoria D. Whiteside.
Taylor Page Widowski.
Shin Young.
Christopher Yin.
Sarah Zimmerman.
Abadir Barre.
Juris Doctoris and Master of Law, Negotiation and Dispute Resolution. Jessica Jacoby.
Kelsey Ryan Lenz.
Catherine T. Pearlstone.
Scott Zimmerman.
Juris Doctoris and LLM in Taxation.
Nicholas Engel.
Alexander Fursa.
Ryan Carlisle Fortick.
Paul Knowlton Manda. Juris Doctoris and Master of Business Administration.
Jennifer Elena Bobbitt.
Joy M. Chung.
Eric Thomas Dolenti.
Justin Wade Fong.
Tony Guan.
Ty Martin Holden.
Alexander Su.
Jonathan A. Corey.
Daniel Aaron Rathhauser.
Colin G. Stapleton.
Mark Stern.
Nathaniel C. Vassell.
Adam Warshawski.
Juris Doctoris and Master of Finance.
David Robert Merrold.
Juris Doctoris and Master of Social Work.
Jacob G. Blanton.
Jamie Gray.
Claire Saberin.
And Melissa Marie Weiss.
Congratulations to the class of 2016. You did it. You are a great class, and you will do great things. Thank you for coming to Washington University School of Law to study with us. Now, I would like to thank Clarion Brass and Director Mary Weber, and I would like to invite all of you, the audience, students, friends, and faculty, to go back to Anheuser-Busch Hall for a reception to celebrate our class of 2016. Thank you, and job well done.